So we have reached the dramatic conclusion of the protests in Ottawa. Even though the hot part of this activity in Ottawa specifically is over, the fallout of this has barely just begun. I would say that the main thing that I'm happy to see is that this movement has spread all over the world, and I can only hope that the outcome in other parts of the world will be better than what happened in Ottawa. A lot of things have happened. I will try to give an analysis that is meaningful to me, and hopefully it'll be interesting to you. There will be timestamps in the description below because, as is the case with these particular segments, I'm not editing these, I'm throwing them up. So if you see me flustering to search something, there will be timestamps below where you can skip that part. And I apologize in advance, but it should be minimal. The first thing that I want to cover is this right here. I want to start with things that I forgot. And 2 weeks ago, I covered the story of the Memorandum of Understanding that was advanced by Canada Unity. And the funny thing about that memorandum is that it wasn't as flashy as is on their site right now up here, but when I covered the Memorandum of Understanding, they had already retracted it, which is why I could not find it on their site. And this very warning was on it February 8th, right when I covered it. However, since it wasn't as in your face as it is now, and since I didn't even read the title, Notice of Formal Withdrawal of MOU by Canada Unity, it was funny to me after the stream to watch myself sitting dumbfounded, wondering where the MOU was, where the very notice of the retraction of the MOU was there in my face on the site that I was looking at but not reading. So that was interesting. I just wanted to cover this. Actually, this is short enough. Let's read it. This is as of 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago. It has come to the attention of Canada Unity that the Memorandum of Understanding, herein referred to as the MOU, does not reflect the spirit and intent of the Freedom Convoy movement. Sure, no surprise. We represent the voice of many Canadians who desire to have the Charter of Rights and Freedoms upheld. Hear, hear. We are everyday Canadians, not lawyers or politicians. Yeah. What? So, yeah, they, these not lawyers or politicians unintentionally wrote a document which could be misconstrued as a coup attempt, which has since been used to demonize the entire movement, and I would say was one of the I didn't see Jagmeet Singh's testimony when he voted in favor of the Emergencies Act, but I'm sure he invoked this because that Weasley little liar has used this Memorandum of Understanding as the pretext to say the truckers want to overthrow the government. They're not hiding it. It's on their website. So anyway, let's continue reading. We are immediately withdrawing the MOU as we do not want any unintended interpretations to continue. Yeah. Our sole desire with the MOU was to have a document where Canadians can peacefully express their displeasure with the current C-19 mandates and express their desire to be free. Yeah, that's noble, but it was very poorly executed. And one thing that I probably didn't state when I read this, or when I read some excerpts from it 2 weeks ago, was that if any of the trucker organizers actually signed this document, that would be really bad, and I can't stand it. I can't stand by them, and that would unintentionally make that Weasley little liar Jagmeet Singh truthful in his claims just based on that. So I sure hope it didn't happen. Where was I? Yes, Canada Unity does not support or encourage any acts which tarnish democratic values held by Canadians. The over 320,000 original signatories of the MAU. To you, we appreciate your support and will continue to peacefully demonstrate until the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is upheld. The charter that begins with a loophole. I covered that in the same episode, but whatever. This document was created with the sole purpose of bringing the Government of Canada and all Canadian citizens into agreement that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms should be upheld for all. Yeah, agreed. I would amend it to remove the loophole in the first clause. I will refer you to my video from 2 weeks ago. I don't feel like covering it again right now. Canada Unity firmly supports the Constitution and democratic process. We remain committed to following lawful process and upholding freedom of choice. Signed, the two very people, James Boder and Sandra Boder. There was a third name, but neither of these people have named themselves at a press conference of the trucker convoys. So all of this is just elaboration on the withdrawal of the MOU, which I forgot to cover last week. The other thing, which is this still relevant, actually, because I bookmarked this right after the here's the thing with the Emergencies Act. Actually, let me catch up with the chat here. They also made a big deal of cryptos being used to finance the movement. Since those accounts can't be shut down, they keep claiming that cryptos are used only to finance terrorism. Yeah, this is another case of lies by omission, which I hope to elaborate on later in this segment. Yeah. What I will say, actually, I don't think this is that relevant because yesterday, February 21st, the Parliament had a vote on whether or not the Emergencies Act that Justin Trudeau invoked last Tuesday should be upheld, and it passed by a significant margin. What was it? Emergencies Act vote result. Let me see here. If the stream gets choppy for a couple seconds, I apologize, but it's looking good. Yeah, the vote passed by a vote of 185 to 151. So that's cringe. And like, if you're Canadian and you care enough to do this and you're watching this, you might want to find out if your representative voted in favor or against this insane measure. I won't, but you, hey, if you want to, I encourage you to do so. What am I covering next? Actually, that is all I will cover right now. I've said this many times during this situation, during this process, during this demonstration, that it's been an interesting exploration of when the question of when does a protest go too far, because as anyone with more than two brain cells to rub together understands, protests are they're inherently disruptive. If there's a protest happening within a couple blocks of where you are, you will feel the effects of it, even if it's as simple as heavy traffic in that area. And if you oppose that, if you oppose the cause of the protest, assuming that you know what it is, then you will be more likely to put the line lower as far as when a protest goes too far than you would if you support the cause of the protest. We have seen examples of this. I will try my best to follow my own advice. Actually, it's technically not my advice, but I will try my best to not compare it to any specific protests that we've seen in the past, because your brain will immediately jump to how they're different, and I just want to bypass that. So I'm sure that we can think of examples of movements with thousands of people involved, that for a cause that you either supported or didn't, that have led to these kinds of conversations. And it is a real shame that Trudeau and his associates, I'll use that word, have used the misrepresentations of this protest to, you know, trample all over people's rights while repeatedly saying that the Charter of Human Rights and Liberties will continue to apply while the Emergencies Act is in place. And it's funny too. I remember 10 years ago there was a vast movement here in Quebec 10 years ago, called the Le Printemps Érable in French. It was a bunch of student protests. This thing took place for months. And even back then, I remember being fascinated by how a protest becomes illegal when an official just says it's illegal. That phenomena has fascinated me since then. And it is really, it's fascinating to watch these Weasley little liars continue to just say it's an illegal occupation. The blockade at the border, I must say, is a different situation where you're affecting trade. Like, even me, who supports the cause that they're doing it for, I am much more sympathetic to lowering the bar and saying, people's livelihoods are on the line in a much more immediate way when you're blocking a trade route, than it is if you are jamming up the streets in their city. You can agree or disagree. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that's a dumb take. But one thing is for sure: let's forget about the blockades at the border, and just focus on the city of Ottawa, which is a symbol. And for me personally, I called the fall of Ottawa on Friday. What made me call it so quickly was the fact that, for the optics purposes, some organizers had been arrested. Pat King, which we will talk about shortly, hopefully. Actually, let me write Pat King to make sure that I don't forget. I regret not having mentioned this guy's name sooner. But that being said, Pat King, Tamara Litch, and presumably other organizers had been arrested on Thursday night or Friday morning. But the thing that made me call it was the fact that they had already deployed cops in riot gear to block off streets, and smashed windows to tow trucks away. And not only that, the final nail in the coffin for me was the press briefing of the Ottawa police that day or that evening. And they very clearly said that they will continue doing this until Ottawa is reclaimed. And once I saw that, I was like, man, if they're if they've decided with a capital D like this, I can't see this ending. How can I say this? I can either see a quick, relatively peaceful end or a long, drawn out, very violent end. And I'm glad I didn't see this. And I gotta say, the of the bad outcomes that were possible in this protest, what ended up happening is one of the better bad outcomes. So at least I'm glad that we didn't, see the worst case scenario where, people are shot with or without the army getting involved. As a matter of fact, based on what I've seen, from what I know, no one died at all. So that's cool. Some people got hurt. There was, that lady who got trampled by a horse who got hurt but did not die. Oh, speaking of which, man, there's some people. If you're watching this and you made it this far, I would implore you, when there's a chaotic situation and the fog of war is still thick, please take the things that you hear within an hour or two of a situation happening with a huge grain of salt. Just be, that might be true, that might not. I'll just wait a little. Because I've seen people, there was a rumor that she had died. And that rumor was circulating much more quickly than I would reasonably expect from such a chaotic situation. Another example of this was, I think this was the Sunday where they confiscated a bunch of fuel from the Ottawa truckers' camp. I spoke about this on another segment, but what I remember from that night, it was either that night or the next day, but I'm pretty sure it was that night where they made this big show of taking all the gas containers from that camp. And I was watching Viva Fry's live stream, and someone in his chat posted in all caps that alert, alert, they're arresting truckers and putting them in camps, in all caps. Now, fortunately, Viva Fry is smart enough to just say, I can't confirm that, and move on with his evening. But I wish that online information literacy was more widespread than it currently is. I think that the people who, how can I say this? I don't know if I can say this nicely, so I'm just going to say it the way it comes to mind. The people who are so quick to believe that the lady who got trampled by a horse died, or that truckers were being arrested and put in camps, they kind of look like the kind of person that people who support vaccine mandates think that they are, and that all people who oppose mandates are, and that all unvaccinated people are. You look like that caricature when you A, believe, and B, spread, because we can't read your mind unless you type dumb shit on the internet, which some of y'all are doing. I wish you would be more skeptical of this. Actually, you know what? On the topic, I'm going to take a moment here, and I'm gonna find this very quickly. You don't have to worry. I'm just gonna open up YouTube here. I am going to find it and bookmark it, because I remember when this course was first published 3 years ago, sharing it with my friends. I went through it all. There is a YouTube channel called Crash Course, and they made this very excellent course on information literacy, which I will bookmark I will copy paste the URL into the show notes and put it there at your disposal. Let's just say that some of the biases that they bring to the table should be clear to some of you. However, the principles behind the main recommendations of that course are very good. They're very sound. You know, just simple things like try scrolling further down than the first couple links of your Google search. Maybe even try searching the second or third page of your Google search results. Maybe when you see an article on a website that you've never heard of, to do a search for that website and add the text wiki after it, just to get an idea of what that site is about. You know, some of y'all have, maybe not y'all, but some people have fallen for satire, where simply adding, doing a search for the name of the website followed by the word wiki would bring you to the Wikipedia page, and you would see right there that it's a satire site. And you can know that, hey, satire imitated real life and I got caught. Hey, lucky me. Good thing I didn't share it because I would have looked really stupid to some people. So yeah, I'm going to include that in the show notes of this stream and of the segment that I'm going to upload. Now, coming back to this discussion, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, you know what? No, I'm just going to reorder some things here, and this will, I don't think I'm going to talk about this. Okay, so we've already covered the lady trampled by a horse. I'm glad she's okay. You know, again, I'm just glad no one died as a direct result of the occupation of Ottawa. That's super great. Now, one thing that I didn't know, which I learned this later that evening on Friday, that Justin Trudeau suspended Parliament on Friday just to make sure that he would get the weekend to, like, you know, bring the hammer down on the protesters. That's kind of nuts. And especially, like, given the vote that took place yesterday, I'm not entirely convinced that was necessary, but that kind of makes Justin look like the kind of dictator that some people say that he is. That was really weird and really cringe. But the and for those of you who didn't already know, after Justin invoked the Emergencies Act on February 15th, Parliament or the Senate had a week to vote to uphold it or not, or they had an opportunity to veto it. Of course, he forced it over the weekend by suspending Parliament on Friday. But now that the vote has passed, that law will be to effect for 30 days. Apparently, they have the option of removing it earlier. And hey, let's just say I don't know what's going to happen in 30 days because you know, they keep claiming that they don't want to have this in effect one day longer than necessary. Sure, buddy. But the glimmer of hope is the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, which is challenging the invocation of this this act. Unfortunately, what is not giving me that much hope as far as the process of challenging this is that the legal process is very slow. In general, this is probably true in all countries. And I would say that even if they are successful in proving that the legal standard to invoke the Emergencies Act was not met and that he had no business doing this, even if they succeed, I doubt that they will succeed in under 30 days, which is why I'm not very hopeful, but I am a little bit hopeful, and a little hope is better than no hope, which is an easy trap to fall into in these trying and uncertain times. Now, let's talk about Pat King. Oh my God. My reaction at the mere mention of his name should speak volumes. I wish that I had said this sooner. I don't think it really matters that I had, but I desperately wish that Pat King was not as intimately involved with the organization of this protest as he is. Had I been saying this, had I remembered to say this before, I would have said that we're kind of stuck with him, and that Pat King is kind of an example of how when you're in a movement, when you support a movement, you might end up having to tolerate some people that you kind of wish had nothing to do with the movement, and that you kind of wish that they were away, that they were just gone. If you have not seen some of these clips, I will not play them all, but I do have a couple of them that I have bookmarked. Let me just see this here. Yeah, good. Nope. I'm gonna pause this. So, the term racist gets thrown around a lot, and I gotta say, I don't know to what extent I've covered this on stream. I certainly have before, especially when I was, way back at the beginning of this stream in my kitchen. One of my first segments was on fascism and how I was wrong about it, and how the word gets thrown around a lot, but you really need to be careful. And I gotta say, despite doing my best to be reasonably skeptical when someone on the internet especially accuses someone else of being a racist or an anti-Semite or a fascist or those kinds of words, there are certain words or terms that are still red flags to me. And Pat King is optics poison. Pat King is enough. He's bad enough to discredit the entire movement, and I wish he had nothing to do with it. I will play one clip. I don't think this clip in itself is a red flag, but the implication is obvious. Let's just listen to this. Wait, I will raise this. Yeah, that should be good.
Please don't take this the wrong way. It's time for me to walk away. For a while. The next 26 days left?
So this was 8 years ago. Get to the good part.
It ain't gonna matter. Unless you want to change your national language to Chinese or Mandarin or Hebrew. You might want to change your name to Ishmael, or drop a bunch of change down the stairs and call yourself Chong Ching Ching Chang. Unless you get up off your asses and demand change. Unless you get up off your asses and support everybody instead of fighting everybody.
Yeah. So the whole unless you want to learn Hebrew, that is a massive red flag. And that's just one clip. There is a wide variety of cringe-ass clips of this kind. Oh, man. Okay. Pat King. And again, I will concede that this is 8 years ago. However, I have seen nothing to suggest that that his attitudes have significantly changed since then. And when you have a red flag like that, which plays right into what I keep saying, and I will explicitly say it again because I take it for granted that there might be new people here. The Sydstream would like to remind you can never read people's minds. If you want to take a glimpse into what a person's internal thoughts might be, you go with consistent patterns of behavior, or you watch out for red flags and you decide for yourself how many red flags is too much for you. And I gotta say, this is not the only red flag, but Pat King has tripped the tripwire in my mind of too many red flags. I wish this guy had nothing to do with it. And there's a clip that I am looking at in my notes right now, which I will... I won't even play it. That's how bad it is. But I'll describe what is in it. I don't really care when this was said, but the clip is of Pat saying, "Trudeau, someone's gonna redacted someday, and you could call that a threat. You can call that whatever you want." Jesus Christ. Wow. There was another, I don't think I have it offhand, but there was another clip of Pat King. Actually, let's see if I can find it. It should be, trust me, I'm doing a very specific search. I'm not even doing the music here. Where is it? No. This is a minute long. Wait a second here. Well, I'll at least put this on screen. So I just the search that I put into Twitter was Pat King Anglo-Saxon. So let's see here. No, this is not it. I will. This is probably the clip. So let's play this.
To go and get medical treatment if needed, the best vitamins, all of that. We've gotten our medicines here that are done.
Just remind you that many Canadians in Canada are not angry.
Absolutely, they're not. Nobody said anything about them. That's what I said. Okay, first and foremost, you're baiting me, and I get it.
This is not the clip.
What I said was that there is a population that is being picked on, and it happens to be that population. I never made a racist comment towards any other ethnicity, any other race, anybody else.
You think Anglo-Saxons are being picked on?
I believe that the whole world is being picked on.
I mean,
No, this isn't the clip. Wait.
I believe everybody is being picked on.
Yeah, this is him defending. This is clearly him defending what he said in the clip that I am looking for. He was in his car when he said that, or in some kind of moving vehicle. Oh, this is probably it right here. Yeah, this is it. All right, I'm counting this as a partial win. Let's play it. This is a red flag, in my view.
Depopulation.
Let's start from the beginning.
Now, what it is the part of the depopulation. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. And what there is there's an end game. It's called depopulation of the Caucasian race, or the Anglo-Saxon. And that's what the goal is to depopulate the Anglo-Saxon race. Because they are the ones with the strongest bloodlines. And we'll leave it at that because then we get into a whole different topic. But it's a depopulation of race.
All right, I'm not going to play the entire 2-minute clip. You, yeah. It is impossible for me to defend this guy. And if you didn't know that If you didn't know that Pat King had said such cringy at best things like this in the past, now you know. And if that is not a red flag for you, hey, you do you. It is for me. And Jesus Christ, it is such a shame that during these 23 days, I believe. Let me just go into my notes here. Because I called the end. Yeah, exactly. I called the end of the protests in Ottawa on Saturday, which would be day 23. And for me, Sunday was kind of like a lingering aftershock. So anyway, the fact that we were stuck with this guy for the 23 days of the protests in Ottawa made me facepalm and roll my eyes many times. And again, I'm sure if I met him in person, we would enjoy, I'm sure I would enjoy having a beer with him. But holy shit, I would definitely ask him about those statements if I met him, just to see what he has to say. I've seen a lot of actual Nazis speak about. No, sorry. Let me rephrase that. I have seen. As a result of watching Vosh and Destiny a lot during, for months on end for a while. As a result of this, I have seen many actual Nazis, actual white supremacists be questioned on their views in public, and I am very familiar with the ways in which they squirm, because most actual Nazis are smart enough to never admit it in public, and they'll say things like, "Hey, I just want America to be America, just like I want Japan to be Japan, just like I want China to be China, just like I want France to be France," and shit like that. Yeah, I would be very curious to see what Pat King would have to say if I asked him about those takes. But holy shit, what a mess to have been publicly supporting the cause of a movement for 3 weeks now, over 3 weeks, which had this guy as one of the organizers. And not just that, there is footage of him when asked, because the convoy officially dissociated from him, and there's footage of him saying, "Oh yeah, they just did it for optics reasons, they had to do it, it's just optics." Jesus Christ, he's not only cringy, but he's stupid. Like, even if it was just optics, why the fuck would you admit it in public on record? God damn it. Do I have anything else to say? Now I got pumped up. Let me just see here in my notes. I think I covered everything, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, fuck it. We're going to end on that. He has been denied bail as of the last, despite the cringy ass takes, they're cringy at best, that I just played from him. I think it's fair to call him a political prisoner at this point. But holy shit, I wish he had nothing to do with the organization of this convoy. And I will leave you on that positive note. If you liked this video, please give it a like and leave your comments in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.